not sure if that first video went, but I was explaining that I sanded all of my walls and now I'm getting ready to brace them. These walls are a little flimsier than Foscale models, so they definitely need bracing on the back here. The reason you're bracing them is because when you go to paint this or add any type of water-based paints, they will warp really bad. So you're preventing that with the wood that they supplied in the kit. And so you get so many of these, you get so many of whatever else, and I think these are maybe the 5/64ths or the 5/32. I'm not sure, but whatever size that is, this is the bracing one. And what you want to do is flex them a little bit, and whichever side gives you the most resistance is the side you want to glue down. And once I figure that out, I take a pencil and just rub against there so I know that's the side that needs to get glued down. And so I have some already cut here and they're already rubbed. And then I'll grab my glue. I'm using canopy glue, it's pretty strong. And I'll just take some and put a little bead along here. And just glue it to the wall. And I want to make sure it's flush against this side here. And then I'll take the other one. And I've already done this wall here. And I've marked this wall in particular because this is the top, and so it only needs a brace to go up this far. I think something else is going over here. And then I'll take my 1, 2, 3 block and just set it on there as a weight to keep it all pressed down. Now the reason these two walls, the braces go to the edge, is because this one will sit a width of that brace. It'll fit on the inside. So imagine that, right? This is this wall, and this will be that wall pushed up against there, which will leave me a nice little gap to put the trim on the outside. But we'll go over that later. So I'll do these other two walls, and they should just be about ready for some a little bit of messing up, if you will. All right, so I have these all braced up. You can't see it over here because I got the camera zoomed in a little bit, but they are sitting, the 1, 2, 3 blocks are sitting on the other braces and kind of just allowing that glue to set. But my next step is to take my knife and just start scoring some of these clapboards and really distressing it a lot. So I'll take the blade, kind of just run through it really light. Again, bars mills, they're walls are very thin, so you can just go right through there. I may brace this right in here too, just for a little more support. And then I'll just kind of just chew away at it. Take that little piece out. I'll do it again up here. And so you don't want to go too far up chewing the wood out like that, because the wood is sitting on the ground and it rots down here, so it's not going to rot that far up unless there's a leak or something in there. And I'll just stick my knife under there, pull that up. And then I'll even just take it and chew away at it like that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna brace under here too, just to be on the safe side. I think this is the back side of the building, the structure. And I'll chip on this side as well. And so with this, if you think of the actual how it's built, you know there should be some type of frame that's holding that door, a frame around that window. So you can almost just, instead of just guessing, I'll get my ruler here and I'll use the weight of the knife to just draw a line right down there, right down the middle. So I don't know if you can see that, but I scribed right down the middle. So there's actual a 2x4 here, here, and here in real life. And then they frame a window, they put the door frame around there, but this indicates there's a 2x4 back here, or whatever they built these with back in the day. And now I can start raising clapboards from where it's been nailed into that 2x4. So to do that, I'll just score a little here, one right above it. And then I'll take the side of my knife and just dig in there very carefully. And just raise up the clapboard a little bit. If you can see, it's raised right there. I don't know if this is even getting on the camera right now, because I can't see on the other side. I'm using my phone to record this, so. But I'll do another one here. See that? How it's raised up just a little bit. You don't have to get carried away with them. Then you can do one on the opposite side here. You're not trying to go all the way through unless that's a look you want to go for. And I may do that on that building. So I may just cut a piece out. I'm not sure yet, but, and yeah, you just wanna, this is just adding some distressed look to your structure, that's all. And I don't have it out, but I typically would take a steel wool brush and run back and forth over these to add even more texture to the actual board itself, the wall. And yeah, that's pretty much how I do the really distressed looking stuff. I'll probably go in here some more and rip out some of that stuff, and maybe do some stuff on the edges. But as you get up here, you know, this stuff doesn't hit, all the traffic and the weathering happens down here, not up there. So yeah, I'll wait for those other ones to dry and I will do those as well. Okay, so I've braced the backs of all of these. I added an extra one here, and I think I added an extra one here as well. I spray painted them with just some charcoal gray rattle can spray paint. This one here is a little tricky. I think I'll have some happy accidents that'll happen here. So the bottom part in the kit is a resin brick wall, and then it goes, a piece of the clapboard wall goes on top. And I had to do a few bracing, different type of bracing, and then I used epoxy. I think it was Gorilla Glue epoxy. Hopefully it's in the right camera, but it's just epoxy. Some leaked out here, but I think I can use that as like cement or something. Also here it leaked out because the resin casting actually broke. I put it in water to try and heat it to make it flat as possible. You can see it's still a slight curve, but I think I can work with that. So yeah, everything's braced and ready for a ink wash, if you will. And then I have, let's see, I forget the name of this stuff. It's like a, now I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, if I think about it, I'll say it, but it's from Builders in Scale, and it's silverwood is the color, if you will. And it's just alcohol and some ink or something in here. It's a stain. That's what I was looking for, sorry. It's a stain. And what I typically do, and a lot of this stuff from here on out, you really can't do wrong. You just do it the way you want to do it, honestly. I've seen enough old houses to kind of have an idea of what's happening, but I just take it and run it on top of the whole side of the wall here. So I'm gonna just do this wall, and then I'll go on to the other stuff that I have. I should have probably got a better brush. This brush is awful, but that's what I got for now. And again, there's no right or wrong for this. It's really just what you want it to look like, according to reference or whatever you got that you're looking at or freestyle. I like freestyling a lot of stuff. I am an artist, actually a tattoo artist, but I'm a general artist by day, if you will. So I draw a lot. I do some painting here and there. I weather a lot of other type of items like 125 scale vehicles, a lot of 40K stuff. So all of this stuff is really like art to me anyway. So with that being said, I've seen enough art stuff, or excuse me, enough reference to know what I want and what I want it to look like. All right, so I think that's enough of that. And I'll probably go back and add more of that on there, but as you could see, it toned down the wood a lot and changed the color from this one to this one. But then I have some India ink mixed with alcohol. This is probably close to a 50-50. And this one is really dark. Or it's the other way around. I'll figure it out once I start applying it. And I'll get my brush for this stuff. And so I'm gonna focus on a lot down here and on the edges. So I'll dip this in here and mix it up just a little bit and see what I get. And then I just let the ink seep into the wood. There's a word for that, I can't remember. And I'm gonna stand up to make sure I can show this up close that I'm doing this. And now it's not in focus when I stand up to do it. But I just take the brush and go right against there, and the ink just, the wood sucks the ink right in there. If you can see that now, yeah, it's a little better. But that's all I'm doing, is letting the wood and ink work together, I guess. And it'll get in all these little grooves and cracks. I want to see what this is. Okay, so this is the lighter one and this is the darker one. And for this, I'll just brush all that on there. There's no rhyme or reason at this point. Just to add a more weathered, beat up look, if you will. And then I'll grab some more dark stuff. And just go up just a little bit. I don't have to go all the way up. And then I'll drag some over. And then I'll do the other side with the dark. Dab around in some of the pieces that I pulled out. Slush some of this around here. And then I'll just do maybe some individual boards or a couple of them together. Because this is actually, I'm gonna paint these walls just a lighter gray. And I think that's it for now for this part. And so what I will do, I will let this dry. I got a hair dryer. I'm not gonna turn that on and blow your ears, but I'll blow dry that, let that dry, and then we'll come back and then I'll start this process, which is I'll put this chipping fluid on from MIG. I'll put that all over it and then let that dry. Then I'll put the paint on top of that, let that dry. Then I'll come back and with a wet brush, wet that paint and then just take my knife and start chipping away. So yeah, I will be back in 2 shakes of a leg. Okay, so I got all the walls painted, which I used, what is this? Steel gray, just some regular acrylic paint. And I put this chipping solution as heavy chipping. I guess they got light chipping as well. So I put this on in 2 layers, and I didn't want to bore you all with me painting. So I put 2 layers of this on, let it dry. I actually blew dry it to speed up the process. Then I put 2 layers of this paint on there. And so now I started chipping away at some of this. It's a pretty easy process. Get your paintbrush and dip it in the water just a little bit to get it damp. And you just rub on the area that you want to chip. And for me, I chipped the whole thing. Not as much up here, but a lot down here. You can see where I started some right here. And whatever's in that chipping solution, I guess, when you activate it with the water on top of the paint, it does something. I'm not sure what, but then I take my knife and then I just scrape either light or heavy to get that paint to pull up. I mean, this is some just really good stuff for distressing paint and making it look really worn. And I just like a lot of worn looking stuff. So I've been inspired by George Stilios. I guess that's his, if I'm saying his name right. Him, a lot of Jason Jensen stuff, and a lot of James Powell. So, and yeah, if you can see that, stand up. And it's just me chipping away at it. This is a pretty long process, if you will. Especially depending on how much you take away, how much you chip. You can go overboard, obviously. And it's just like it's been really beat down, or you can just do really light. So like I said, I'll do really heavy down here, and as I start climbing up, I won't go as hard. And that's it. This paint is still a little damp from that water I put on there, so right now I'm letting the weight of the knife actually pull some of that paint off of there. And you can probably, so another thing I found out with this is sometimes you don't need to wet it, but then you only pull up a little bit of the paint, right? And like I said, that's what I want to do up here. The water, I guess, causes that paint, like I said, to interact with that chipping fluid that's under there and allows you to make bigger bigger chips, if you will. I think also how much paint you put on here also affects the chipping and how much you chip off of there. I did do a little bit of fade with the paint. So up here I painted it really with the 2 coats, but as I got here, I only went in a little bit, went in this way a little bit and left that with the 1 coat. So this is 2 coats. This is like a very light dry brush coat down here. And that's it. I'll do 1 or 2 clapboards at a time. Until I get up the wall to where I feel like it should stop. And so what I'll do for the rest of it is once I get done with this part of chipping, so I got 3 other boards to do. I'm spitting on one. Is I'll probably go back in with some more of the India ink wash and mess with it down here a little bit on the sides again, because I want this to be rotted pretty bad. I want the other side to be rotted too. And then I'll probably go over it with some of this again. And that's pretty much weathering, really. Is just a lot of layer after layer after layer of stuff. And because the paintbrush is still a little damp, I didn't put it back in the water. I just picked it up and started rubbing it on there. And yeah, when the paint is a little moist, it comes up off of there really easy. And again, I'm just freestyling. Like, there's no rhyme or reason for how much I do up here or over here. It's just what I think looks right. It's like Bob Ross. We'll put a little happy scratch here and a little happy chip here. And so I think I'm gonna make this into like a 2-part series or something. Or maybe this will just be it. Maybe it'll just be how I weather walls, and then I'll finish it at some point. because there's just still, as I was sitting here doing this, I was thinking of just adding how the other details and stuff will come into play. Electrical boxes and roofing detail, wires, and all that stuff. Because it's a storefront kit from a Bars Mill, and you know, they have a sign here. It would be cool if I could light that, but something that may be a little too much for right now that I want to do. But you know, you can see the storefront here. I think I want to put some wiring or some piping or something along here, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's kind of what I was thinking about as I was painting this stuff. So I say all that this may be just this series, or it may be a two-part series on just building the structure in general, but I kind of just like to keep it simple. So this just may be how I weather walls. And if I don't like how much I'm pulling off of there, I could just either, again, use the weight of the knife and just let it scrape very lightly, or just wait till that dries. I can get a blow dryer on it and dry it up just a little bit so it's not that moist. But yeah, that's it. So I'll do this, I'll finish the rest of this one, and then I'll do the other three, and that will be it. That's how I weather walls, y'all. Thanks for looking, and I'll see you on the rebound. Peace.